Hey, before this starts, I'm going to give you a big heads up. I blew it with the leveling. I'm low. Billy's pretty high. I tried to do the best I could with it, but I didn't think recording another one was. It would have been spontaneous. So here it is, the Billy the Fridge interview, who just visited Onision. Billy the Fridge confronts Onision on his front door, and there's a lot of different opinions out there. Everything from outrage to compliments. Billy the Fridge, welcome to Shot from the Point News. Thanks for having you on. If I could
always.
I do appreciate this. So I'm going to let you tell the story, but I'm going to set this up. Initially, from what I followed the stream, and I got to be honest with you, when you actually got to Onision, there was so much shouting in the Discord I was in when you actually met Onision that I didn't get all of it, so don't be afraid to fill in the blanks if I get something wrong. So you were initially going to confront Onision at the courtroom, and you got a flat tire, if I'm not mistaken. Is that correct?
Yeah. Start off the stream. I wouldn't have even streamed.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even streamed if I would have known I had a flat. I would have just fixed it.
Yeah. Like, I thought when I saw that, I was like, I guess Billy's not going to get this. It's not going to go very well. So what happens is you miss it, you get your tires fixed, and then somewhere along the line, you decide to drive to Onision's house. Is that correct?
Oh, man, my chat was like, go to his house. And for like a good hour, I was like, fuck, no. And then donations start coming in, views start coming in. And I'm like, I got to do something.
Absolutely. So is that a fair way to, like, you think you were not pressured into it, but encouraged? I don't think pressured. People donate.
I was encouraged. Yeah, it was encouragement. It's like you log on to, it's IRL streaming, right? Like you kind of are at the mercy of your audience if you want them to continue being your audience.
Yeah,
you want to give them content.
Yeah,
that's the entire idea behind it.
So you have some reservations about going there. It's why did you have reservations about going to a store?
Because I haven't talked to him for months. I stopped being friends with him in August once the girl Sarah came out and said what she said, and I knew that me going there was going to be uncomfortable. At least he tried to call me earlier this week, and I ignored his call. It's like, I'm not trying to talk to this guy, and then I'm just going to go to his house. Like that's not a good idea.
That's the way I took it. That there was a lack of comfort. Do you think there was also some pressure? You have denounced Onision in the past. And, we had a conversation. This guy, he was, this is when he was just a YouTube asshole. He was your friend, and the impression that I got from the whole situation, you wanted to confront him in the court. You had that in your mind. That thing you knew what you were going to do. And now your friend, who at one time was just kind of a YouTube weirdo, is standing in front of you. And it's, I think if I had to guess, everything that you thought you were going to say at the courtroom just couldn't come out.
Honestly, I wasn't gonna confront him at the courtroom. I was gonna go to the court and just it's IRL streaming, right? Like anything that happens on camera is content to the viewer. So I was gonna talk to Repsion because I knew he'd be there. I was just gonna go around and talk to people. It's literally just a place for me to go and be me in front of other people, right? It's a new cast of characters. That's what an IRL stream is about. And if I did run into Onision, I had no idea how he would react to me. We haven't been talking. I honestly figured he'd be in court. He wouldn't want to talk to anybody, right? It would just be a weird situation. And then when that didn't happen, when I couldn't even get to the courthouse in time because of a flat tire, my stream was like, go to his house. I'm like, that's crazy. But
you did it.
We ended up doing it.
Well, did you think it was a good idea? You just said that this is an IRL stream, and but the title was confront. You used the word confrontation, if I'm not mistaken. Is that right?
I have somebody make change my titles as the thing goes on, so I didn't even know what it was.
Okay, so you didn't know. Okay, all right, fair enough.
Yeah.
But whether they're changing it or not, you say confrontation. That means I'm going to yell at you for grooming. Let's be honest. Even though that doesn't literally what it means you have to admit that the fans.
I never saw the word confrontation. I remember seeing the word ambush.
Ambush. It was ambush or conversation. It was one of the two. Well, that's even worse.
Yeah. Well, I know, I didn't put it there. Ambush means we're gonna roll up on Onision
Yeah,
with a camera, right? Like that's the idea,
I suppose.
and see what happens. You
Well,
know?
I'm like, yeah. Well, I mean, let me question. I mean, because like, look, I'm a supporter of yours, and I thought you took some unfair criticism, considering that because like, I think what it looked like to me is you wanted to do something. I imagine you wanted to get out from under the Nissan umbrella and prove that your denouncement. And then when I got the feeling you kind of choked because he was your friend. It's really difficult to look at somebody that you've known for years and you've been friends with, and you guys are obviously friendly, and just say you're the P word. I mean, I that's not easy. That's not an easy thing to do. That's not that.
I don't even think it was choking. I think that the type of person he is, confronting him only puts him in a defensive mode.
Mm-hmm.
The best way to get him to slip up, I think, is to make him comfortable, right?
I would think so.
Like,
yeah, no, that's a good point.
And because I have that history of friendship with him, and I'll tell you, it sucked when I fucking saw him and he looked genuinely happy to see me.
I know.
That sucked.
Because I look, this is where I think I saw that too, and I saw your face, and I saw the discomfort, and I mean, I can't imagine being in your position, and that's your detractors are criticizing you for, I guess, not punching him in the face, but the people that are supporting you are pointing that out. There is no way to get this guy to talk if you just start yelling and screaming at him and calling him the P word or calling him a groomer or something of that nature. It's over. The stream's over.
Yeah.
There is one way, and I got to be honest, one of my broadcasting idols, he used to put guys on the Ku Klux Klan on and just let him talk. And I do. I think that's a I think that's a really good defense of what you were doing, because you did get him to talk, and nobody on this planet could have got him to talk. Was it good optics long term though? I mean, I know you got good donations.
Yeah.
You think it was good optics long term? And another thing is, if Greg was listening or James was listening to this right now, he might think you were kind of manipulating him. Is this like, I
mean, I definitely went to his house on a live stream, right? Like, I was asking for something to happen. In my heart of hearts, I had hoped he just called the cops on us,
really,
and just have the cops show up. And because when you IRL stream, the people watching, they want some sort of climax to the stream, right? There's a buildup, and I was getting donations and views like crazy, and it's really hard not to deliver some sort of buildup. So when I went there and the lady pulled up behind us and she was like, "I called the sheriff on you," I was like, "Thank God we're gonna get a sheriff down here.
You did.
This is gonna be over."
You were like, "Oh, the cops are coming! The cops are coming!"
Yeah.
I did hear that. It's true.
I was excited to hear that. I wanted them to show up. I was like, "I'm gonna wait here till they come. Then bring them here."
Yeah,
that's because that's an ending. That's an ending. And then Onision comes out, and
he was happy to see you.
Yeah, and he was acting crazy and saying a lot of shit that was like, whoa,
Yeah.
And if I was just like, "You're a pedophile, you're a groomer, you're all these things," I'm not going to get him to be comfortable and open up with the camera.
Sure.
And, potentially he could say some really crazy stuff, right?
Sure.
But also, I am a live streamer. I'm trying to make the content interesting.
Sure.
And people are like, "You used the victims." I didn't use the victims. I used my ex-friendship with Onision to make content on my live stream, right? I didn't want to do that. If you watch the entire stream, I'm like, no. And then donations come in. My friends with me are like, "Come on, do it. Don't be a bitch."
Yeah.
And I'm like, if I wish I hadn't done it, just because I knew this was going to happen afterwards. I knew the situation it was going to be, and I knew that going in, but I also knew that it was going to be big views, and it was going to make me like, content, right?
Yeah, gotcha.
And that's something
you're doing. That's what you're doing.
That's what you do when you IRL stream. People are acting like I'm this investigative journalist. I'm not.
You're Billy the
I am
Bridge.
a guy.
You're Billy the Bridge, I mean? I got you.
And they're like, you're you were laughing at victims. If I was laughing, it was because I was fucking nervous.
Yeah.
They're like, you're nodding when he talks. I nod when I'm thinking in my head, like when someone's talking and I'm nod to like show that I'm listening, but I'm also half like thinking in my head. It's just like I'm sitting there the whole time, like, what the fuck can I say? What is my next move? He's like, he starts humping me. He grabs my fucking throat. He's got a light choke on my neck. And he's like doing this stuff. And I'm like, is he really like just doing this on camera? And the live streamer, the IRL streamer in me is like, this is going to get clipped and put all over the internet, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Like, this is going to be huge. And you want to make those moments that are crazy and outlandish. But at the same time, I'm like, there's so many people that hate this guy. Why is he acting this way? Is he just that comfortable with us that he's gonna go start like simulating sex, say this is what he does to girls on me? And there's so much shit going through my head. I'm like, I'm on his property. The sheriff is supposedly on its way. Do I want to elevate this to a real confrontation with cameras from both sides? And I know that he's litigious because he just got out of a court case earlier today. Like, there's so many variables going through my head in that moment. And yeah, I put myself in that situation. I'm in front of his house. I should have never went. La da da da. I wish I hadn't for that reason, but for every other reason, like the live stream content, it's entertainment. And people are like, you disrespected all the victims, and I fucking am sorry that it happened that way. I really am.
I honestly think that's a stretch if you disrespect it. Unless you, is there a clip that I'm not aware of where you made fun of a victim in front of Onision?
I mean, it's all on that live stream. I don't think I did. My friend Joe was there, and
I could have missed it. I mean, I told you I'm in this Discord. Everybody's yelling and screaming. I didn't hear every word you said.
My friend Joe was there, and he is like the Andy Kaufman type of comedy where he gets in character and is just the most like abrasive human. That's his shtick. I've worked with him for 10 years. We worked in Beverly Hills. He had a TV show down there.
Yeah.
He's always like says like the worst stuff, and he's doing it throughout this entire thing. And I'm ignoring it because I know it's a shtick. I know he's just being the asshole, and I'm ignoring it. And it was just infuriating the audience. They're like, how the fuck could he say this? This guy is a horrible human being, and he's over here making jokes, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like that. I can see why people
understand the IRL streamer you, and I do understand that. But is there a line though? I mean, is Onision the line? And this is something your detractors say. Is there a line here that maybe you should have went over there for you, and maybe you shouldn't go over there because this, and maybe you shouldn't go over there because you're an IRL streamer because he's just that hated. Was this a really good idea at the end of the day? I understand you did quite well. You did your job. You got your job done. But was this a good move long term?
I mean, long term, I think that anybody who was watching for entertainment loved it, right?
Sure.
People who were watching because they expected me to take down Onision like Chris Hansen might, like expected me to have all these hard-hitting questions. Your expectations were misguided. I was never going to be able to do that. What I was able to do was get an audience to see Onision live. Like I could offer that uniquely because the situation I've been in.
But should you be doing that with somebody that's accused of what he's accused of? And let's keep in mind they're all accusations at this point. He has not been arrested. He's not been charged. Should you do that? Would you do that with a convicted murderer? Would you do that with a convicted trial man? Would you do the exact same thing?
If I had access to them and I thought that it was going to be entertaining for me to go talk with them, like I would go to a murder and be like, what the fuck, dude? Like, see how they reacted, right? Like I like my character that I play is a lot like myself, where I just like, I'm trying to be like the good guy, I'm trying to like, and then things happen to me that are like I get humped by Onision, or I get fucking socked in the back of the head on a live stream. I get like people reacting to me, and I should I have done this? I really shouldn't have done this, right? I shouldn't have.
Well, is there a line? Is there a line? Is there a line for you at all? There's nothing you want.
Is there a line? There's definitely a line. I don't think I was making jokes at the sense of the victims. And if I look back and I see that I was, I am sorry, but I know the people around me were, and I know I didn't do anything to stop. I didn't do things to stop him from saying a lot of the things he did, Onision, and I don't like. You do everything you do on these IRL streams in the moment. Not one bit of this was planned. People are like, I knew he was friends with him this whole time. This was all staged. This was all faked. This was all very uncomfortable for me.
I can see,
and I shouldn't have done it. I shouldn't have.
See,
but
like, it's funny because as your friend, I would have told you it was a bad idea, and I would have said
100%.
Yeah, if we were in the car together, I was like, well, I'm gonna take a bus home. That's what I would have done because I thought it's just too hot for me. But I do get what you're saying. You know, like you don't become a big IRL streamer, and Onision has not been convicted of a crime. Some would argue that he should, but so far that is not the case. And the IRL stream is to make outrageous things happen. This guy is the hottest thing on the internet right now. He's accused of very serious. Chris Hansen has got involved. You had an opportunity to confront him, and or at least be in his presence, and he took advantage of that. So I think if I had to guess,
none of this was planned. None of this was planned.
And whether or not, did you get the plan to get the flat tire?
Yeah, exactly, exactly. And no matter whether or not he has been convicted of a crime, he is an asshole. He has hurt people time and time again, and I don't know how many times I have to say that. I guess because I am goofy and I am a comedy guy and an entertainer. Sometimes you forget that I've 100% disassociated from this fucking guy from the jump, and coming back to his house right now, I didn't know what was going to happen. It sucks that I even was on camera with him, to be honest.
Sure.
I wanted the cops to come. I wanted him to stay in his house and be like, I'm not coming out on camera. I wanted him to call the cops on us, Chris Hansen style. I didn't want this to be in front of him. And when it was, there's clips of me asking him questions, and they're pretty fucking hard questions. But like, then there's clips of me sword fighting with him because he's like, here, play swords. And I'm like, I'm on camera and I know my audience is watching. And I'm like, I go and I hit him with the sword, push him back to the forest. And for a second, I'm like, this would be great content if I just stabbed his ass and he flew back into the fucking woods, right?
Yeah.
And I pulled back and stopped.
Yeah.
But like in your head, you're doing this for so many different people for so many different reasons, and you don't have a script. You're not planned. You don't know what's going to happen.
Can you have it both ways though? I mean, is it possible, or are you just gonna take the good with the bad with this? I mean, because a lot of people might view this interview and say, you know, you're a little bit on the moralist side. You know, your compass might not be pointing. Your moral compass might not be pointing in the right direction. I'm not saying that, but I can see people taking. Are you ready for that kind of criticism? Because
I'll tell you what.
You can't not be his friend and then go to his house and then have those kind of interactions. That would be the criticism I would be coming up with. I mean, I don't have a problem.
And to people that say that I obviously am his friend because of the way this interacted, I've interacted on camera with people who were trying to fight me, and spit on me and hit me and shit. This is IRL stream. I've been on camera with people who were a threat to me, and I still continued the narrative of the video. And I think a lot of people think that I am forgiving this guy or whatever by being on camera with him. I don't know what the fuck I was doing, to be honest. I just wound up in front of his house. I in my head, I'm like, this is a bad idea the whole time.
Yeah.
As it was going down, I was like, what the fuck is going on? What is going on? And then after it was over, I was just glad to be away from it. I was just glad. And you can say everything about, can I have it both ways? I can't have it both ways.
Okay.
Like, I 100% acknowledge that this looked bad. I knew that going into it. But I also knew that it would be crazy views and it would be funny, right? I knew that. So I'm like weighing the two out.
I got you. I mean, look, I know the pressures that you're under doing this stuff, and I understand, but I don't think the people that don't do this really understand and get that. And they look, they have every right not to. You know, I don't really have a problem. See, I don't have a problem with talking with people. I don't care. I personally don't care if he's a murderer, but I do know how the fans view this, and certainly the ones that watch this channel. You know, they want this guy in jail. They think he's hurt too many people.
I want this guy in jail too. If you can fucking prove that he needs to go to jail, put him in there. Put him in there. What I don't want is anybody associated with him getting like doxxed and stuff, like his family members and stuff like that. That's not how you operate. You don't go after people associated with him to get him down because you can't pin him with a crime. Like I don't like people making up stuff that's not true.
It actually hurts the overall investigation. I'll be honest with you. That's the thing. I'm always talking to the anti-Onision crowd. I don't think there's any problem with being anti-Onision and want to hold him accountable. But once you start even if you're not personally involved, once the witch hunt tactics start, all you're doing is helping him and giving him an excuse. And I don't want to see this. I want him held accountable. To what degree? I want to know what he did before I tell you to what degree. And all right, Billy, I really appreciate you bringing on and being so honest. I wish the best to you.
Really quick before we go, Tommy.
Sure.
You brought up the moral thing, right? Where do your morals lie?
I think that's the criticism you'll get. I know where you're coming from. I don't have a personal problem, but I think there might be questions about your moral compass.
And I just want to say, my moral compass in the moment, everything looked crazy. It was crazy. I should have never went to his house. I knew that before I went in. You watched the stream. I'm trying to talk my way out of it the whole time. I gave in to the audience. I gave in to the people around me, and I went because truthfully, it was content.
Gotcha.
Where do my morals lie? My morals lie in the aftermath when I'm willing to be transparent and talk with just about every person who confronts me. If you confront me and say, why did you do this? I'm going to give you my time, whether it's a tweet or a conversation or an interview. I'm going to tell you why I did this. And I don't respect what Greg has done or James Onision has done. I don't condone it. And if you thought I was being disrespectful, I am sorry. I was being a fucking goofball. That's what my channel's about. And maybe this wasn't the place to do it, but it happened. And I look back on it, and I wish it would have worked out better. I wish I would have known exactly what to say to get him, but I didn't.
Yeah.
And it was uncomfortable for me. If you look at the clips of where I did say some stuff, I hit him with some stuff, but we were playing around.
The way one of the things I said when I saw you, when I said you freeze, and I know, look, you're the type of guy, you're not afraid to throw down. I've seen it when you were attacked on drunken peasants. You threw down immediately, and I understand. And you actually said that on this channel before, that if somebody hits me, I'm going to let it go because it's more important to capture the content as an IRL streamer. So you're trying to be somewhat professional in that crazy field. I get it. I think what happened to you, and this is why I generally have some empathy towards you, but at the same time, I think the criticisms, even some of the severe ones, are legitimate. I think what happened is you saw your old friend, and you fucking it wasn't as easy to do as you thought it might be.
I had no plans to do anything.
Yeah,
I wasn't gonna be like, you're a pedophile. It was like he showed up, and I'm like, fuck. Now what do I do?
Yeah, but your title is ambush and confront, and I think that confuses the audience, and I think that's also a fair criticism.
I mean, that's fair. I didn't make that title. I had somebody changing my title as the thing goes on. Ambush. The idea is that we're going to show up to his house, and then what, right?
Yeah.
We ambushed him.
Yeah.
I did ask him a lot of questions as it went on. The way I asked them were because if he was more comfortable, I thought we'd get a more legitimate answer out of him.
Oh, gotcha.
And people are like, you were too nice with him. You were too nice.
You had to be nice. That's ridiculous. See, I find that criticism ridiculous because if you yelled at him, he would have went away. If you talked to him like he was going to stay. So I find that.
And we're in front of his house with his people saying the cops are coming. Like there was a whole lot going on there in my head. We did what we did. I wish the cops would have just showed up and I never talked to him. Yeah. That would have been the ultimate ending for me.
Yeah.
But it didn't work.
All right, Billy. I think you've been really transparent in this interview. I think you've talked about that there was a money motivation. You talked about that you feel like an obligation as an IRL streamer. I think you talked about that maybe it was the wrong thing. So I don't think anybody could accuse you of not being transparent.
If you think it was wrong, you're probably right. I thought it was wrong before I even did it, but it's like you never know what's going to happen in an IRL stream, so you kind of roll with it. You go with the flow of things, and when it hit, I didn't know what to do. There was so much shit in my mind at that moment that I'm like, let's just try and do our best. And If you were disappointed, I'm sorry. I understand why.
Thanks for being on, Billy. Really appreciate it.